Most people do not like or start war. War is a part of human nature, but leaders have a habit of sacrificing their men and women to keep their cause alive. Every now and then, there's one person who has such a big ego that they actually believe they are more worthy of power than all others, or use their power and leadership to benefit themselves. This is when war is unavoidable. Conflicts have been solved using war for thousands of years, and will continue to be solved this way for thousands of years to come. Some wars are long and have tragic amounts of casualties over petty conflicts. Some, on the other hand, are shorter and have fewer casualties. War has been a topic of debate for years and has caused conflict not only on the battlefield, but also back home with the public fighting for what they believe in. A war is very similar to the conflict taking place in Afghanistan is the Vietnam War. Both these conflicts have many similarities. In both these conflicts, the US military are involved, and both times they misunderstood the nature of their enemy. As the enemy were merely trying to protect themselves in Vietnam, and during the current war in Afghanistan, America are essentially wiping out all threats. Similar combat tactics are used in these wars, but have just been given different names. For example, in Vietnam, a key tactic was a search and destroy mission. The same tactic is used in Afghanistan but under the name sweep and clear. In both these wars, the enemy is using the tactic of guerrilla warfare. In both these wars, the US have been their enemy because of their attempts to make the indigenous people fight against their own by training them like the US military. This has led to lots of issues for the US military during the Afghan war, as the indigenous people do not always do as they're expected to. This tactic has led to US soldiers being murdered in cold blood in their own base. In some ways, World War II is very similar to the wars that America has been involved in recently, and still is involved in. The enemy in World War II is the German army that is being led by Hitler, who is bent on gaining as much power as possible through destruction, and is basically invading anywhere that seems might be a threat. With America's most recent wars, for example the Iraq and the Afghanistan war, the American military has been invading these countries, either as a retaliation to terrorist attacks or because there are suspicions of a threat. The American military has been treating these countries like the Germans treat their threats. These countries have been invaded and innocent people have been killed just like in World War II. The two biggest differences between these two wars is the fact that the American military have not kept prisoners in prison camps and been murdering them in cold blood, and that no one has effectively stood up and stopped the feud between these countries and stopped the Americans from starting these pointless petty conflicts. War is a part of human nature, but it's not always the desired action. Most people do not enjoy war or enjoy seeing their loved ones shipped off to battle over petty conflicts. There has always been war, and there will always be war, even if it is not wanted. There will always be someone starting a conflict with one another.